First contact. The night sky of a rural Montana blazed with an otherworldly light as the scout ship tore through the atmosphere. Flames licked at its silver hull, pieces of exotic metal breaking away as it plummeted towards the earth. In a nearby farmhouse, John Carter jolted awake, his eyes wide as he watched the fiery spectacle through his bedroom window. The ship crashed with a thunderous boom that shook the ground, leaving a deep furrow in John's cornfield. Without hesitation, he grabbed a flashlight and ran out into the cool night air, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and curiosity. As he approached the smoking wreckage, John could hardly believe his eyes. The vessel was like nothing he'd ever seen, sleek, almost organic in its design, with strange symbols etched into its surface. But what truly took his breath away was the figure that emerged from the twisted metal. She, for the being was unmistakably female, stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. Her large, almond-shaped eyes were a deep violet, filled with pain and confusion. 4 slender arms extended from her torso, and a crest of delicate tendrils adorned her head where hair would be on a human. The alien stumbled, clearly injured from the crash. John's instincts kicked in, overriding his shock. He rushed forward, catching her just as she was about to collapse. "Easy there," he said softly, surprised by how light she felt despite her size. "I've got you." The alien's eyes locked onto John's face, a mix of fear and wonder in her gaze. She spoke, her voice a melodic trill that sent shivers down John's spine. Though he couldn't understand her words, the pain in her voice was unmistakable. John made a decision in that moment that would change the course of human history. "Let's get you somewhere safe," he murmured, gently guiding her away from the wreckage. As they made their way back to the farmhouse, the alien leaned heavily on John, her breathing labored. He could feel the warmth of her skin through his thin t-shirt, and a faint, sweet scent reminiscent of lilacs filled his nostrils. Once inside, John helped the alien onto his couch, then quickly gathered first aid supplies. As he tended to her wounds, mostly cuts and bruises, thankfully nothing life-threatening, he couldn't help but marvel at her alien physiology. Her blood was a shimmering silver, and her skin seemed to have a slight bioluminescent quality up close. The alien watched John's every move intently, her initial fear giving way to cautious curiosity. When he finished bandaging a particularly nasty gash on her arm, she reached out with one of her lower hands and gently touched his face, trilling softly. John smiled, hoping to convey friendliness. "I'm John," he said, pointing to himself. "John Carter." The alien tilted her head, then pointed to herself with an upper hand. "Zara," she said, the words sounding strange but beautiful in her alien voice. "Zara," John repeated, nodding. "Nice to meet you, Zara." As the night wore on, John and Zara attempted to communicate through gestures and drawings. He learned that she was a scout, sent to survey Earth for her people. Her ship had malfunctioned, leading to the crash. Zara seemed relieved when John indicated that he wouldn't tell anyone about her presence, at least not yet. As dawn broke, John found himself marveling at the strange turn his life had taken. Here he was, a simple farmer, now host to an alien visitor. He watched as Zara dozed on the couch, her chest rising and falling with slow, steady breaths. In sleep, she looked almost peaceful, the worry lines on her alien face smoothed away. John knew that everything was about to change. The existence of aliens would reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. But for now, in this quiet moment, he felt a deep sense of wonder and responsibility. He had saved this alien's life, and in doing so, had become Earth's first ambassador to the stars. As the sun rose over the Montana plains, John Carter settled into his armchair, ready to face whatever challenges this new day might bring. The journey that began with a fiery crash in his cornfield was only just beginning, and he couldn't wait to see where it might lead. Cultural exchange. The following days were a whirlwind of discovery for both John and Zara. As the alien recovered from her injuries, their ability to communicate improved rapidly. Zara possessed an implant that allowed her to quickly absorb languages, and within a week, she was speaking halting English. John found himself captivated by Zara's tales of her homeworld, Lyra. She described vast cities that floated among the clouds, powered by technology that seemed like magic to him. Her people, the Lyrans, were a peaceful race dedicated to scientific advancement and exploration. "We seek knowledge across the stars," Zara explained one evening as they sat on John's porch, watching the sunset. "Earth, your world, it calls to us. So much life, so much diversity. We wish to learn, to understand." John nodded, sipping his coffee. "I can see why you'd find us interesting. We're a pretty varied bunch, that's for sure." Zara's violet eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Tell me more about humans, John. Your cultures, your beliefs. I wish to understand." And so John became a teacher of humanity. He explained concepts like music, art, and literature. He showed Zara films and books, delighting in her reactions to human creativity. Her favorite was The Wizard of Oz. The idea of a world suddenly bursting into color resonated deeply with her. In return, Zara shared the scientific knowledge of her people. She explained principles of physics that made John's head spin, describing energy sources and propulsion systems far beyond anything humans had achieved. One night, as they stargazed together, Zara pointed out her home star. "There," she said softly. "That is where Lyra orbits. So far, yet now it feels less distant." John felt a warmth in his chest at her words. Despite their differences, he and Zara had formed a deep bond. He found himself marveling at her grace, her intelligence, and the gentle way she approached the world around her. As weeks passed, John knew he couldn't keep Zara hidden forever. The crash site had been discovered, and government agents were asking questions in town. With a heavy heart, he broached the subject with Zara. "I think it's time we tell someone about you," he said. "Someone who can help us communicate with your people, maybe even get you home." Zara's tendrils rippled, a sign John had learned indicated mixed emotions. I understand," she said. "But John, I fear. Not all humans will be like you. Some may see us as threat." John took one of Zara's hands in his own, marveling at how natural it felt now. "I won't let anything happen to you," he promised. "We'll find people we can trust. Scientists, maybe. People who will understand the importance of peaceful contact." Zara nodded, squeezing his hand gently. "I trust you, John Carter. You have shown me the best of humanity. I only hope others will see as you do." The next day, John made a call to a professor he knew at the state university. Dr. Emily Chen was an astrobiologist he'd met at a local science fair, and he hoped she would be open-minded enough to help. When Dr. Chen arrived at the farm, her initial shock quickly gave way to scientific excitement. She and Zara conversed for hours, with the Lyran explaining aspects of her biology and technology that left the human scientist in awe. "This is incredible," Dr. Chen said, her eyes shining. "The potential for advancement, for understanding our place in the universe, it's beyond anything I could have imagined." As they discussed next steps, a plan began to form. Dr. Chen would assemble a small team of trusted colleagues to study Zara and prepare for official first contact. They would work in secret for now, avoiding government interference until they could ensure Zara's safety. That night, after Dr. Chen had left with promises to return soon, John and Zara sat in comfortable silence. The weight of their secret, of the monumental changes to come, hung in the air between them. "John," Zara said softly, her violet eyes meeting his. "I want you to know, saving me, caring for me, showing me your world, it means more than I can express. You have changed me, opened my eyes to the beauty of humanity." John felt a lump in his throat. "You've changed me too, Zara. Seeing the world through your eyes, it's made everything new again." As they gazed at each other, a deeper understanding passed between them. Human and alien, two beings from vastly different worlds, yet connected by something profound. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The stars twinkled overhead, witnesses to this unlikely bond. On a small farm in Montana, the future of two civilizations was taking shape, built on a foundation of compassion, curiosity, and the universal language of friendship. Looming threat. As weeks turned into months, the small team of scientists worked tirelessly to understand Zara and prepare for broader contact with the Lyrans. John's farm became a hub of clandestine activity, with researchers coming and going under the cover of night. Through it all, the bond between John and Zara deepened, growing into something neither of them had anticipated. One crisp autumn morning, as John and Zara walked through the orchard, a sudden burst of static from her communication implant made her stumble. John caught her, concern etched on his face. "Zara, what's wrong?" Her violet eyes were wide with shock. "A message from my people. John, they're coming. A fleet, heading towards Earth." John felt his heart race. "A fleet? Why? I thought your people were peaceful." Zara's tendrils rippled with agitation. "They are, but the message speaks of a threat. A terrible danger following us across the stars. They come to warn Earth, to protect." Before she could finish, the sound of approaching vehicles cut through the air. Black SUVs with government markings sped up the driveway, kicking up dust in their wake. "We've been discovered," John said grimly. He took Zara's hand. "Whatever happens, we face it together." As armed agents surrounded them, a tall woman in a dark suit stepped forward. "John Carter. I'm Director Sarah Hawkins, National Security Agency. We need you and your guest to come with us." Hours later, John and Zara found themselves in a secure facility deep beneath Washington, D.C. Director Hawkins paced before them, her face a mask of controlled tension. "Let me be clear," she said. "We've known about your alien friend for some time. What we didn't know was the scale of the situation." She turned to Zara. "Your people are coming, and they're bringing a war to our doorstep." Zara shook her head emphatically. "No, you misunderstand. The Lyrans come to help, to warn. To warn us about the real threat." A new voice interrupted. A man in a lab coat entered, pushing a cart with a strange, pulsing object. "We've decoded more of the transmissions. There's another alien race out there, one that's been hunting the Lyrans across the galaxy. And now they set their sights on Earth." The scientist activated a holographic display showing a massive insectoid creature with gleaming black armor and razor-sharp mandibles. "We're calling them the Harvesters. They move from planet to planet, stripping them of resources and enslaving the populations. The Lyrans have been fleeing from them for centuries." John felt a chill run down his spine. He looked at Zara, seeing the fear and guilt in her eyes. "You knew about this?" Zara's tendrils drooped. "I suspected. My mission was to assess Earth's defenses, to see if your world could withstand the coming storm. I never meant to bring this danger to you." Director Hawkins slammed her hand on the table. "Intentions don't matter now. We have less than a month before both fleets arrive in our solar system. We need to prepare, and we need your help." The next weeks were a blur of activity. John found himself thrust into the role of liaison between humans and Lyrans, working alongside Zara to share everything they knew about both alien races. Military leaders from around the world gathered in secret, planning Earth's defense against a threat beyond anything they had imagined. Zara worked tirelessly, sharing Lyran technology and tactics. She helped human scientists upgrade weapon systems and develop shields that might stand a chance against the Harvesters' advanced weaponry. But in quiet moments, John could see the toll it was taking on her. One night, he found her alone in the facility's observation deck, staring up at the stars. "Zara," he said softly, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Talk to me." She turned to him, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "John, I'm so sorry. I never meant to bring this war to your world. Your people have shown me such kindness, and now—" John pulled her into an embrace, marveling at how natural it felt despite their physiological differences. "Hey, this isn't your fault. You came here to help us, to warn us. Without you, we'd be facing this threat blind." Zara leaned into him, her tendrils gently brushing his cheek. "Your world is so beautiful, so full of life. The thought of the harvesters destroying it." "We won't let that happen," John said firmly. "Humans might be technologically behind, but we're stubborn as hell. We don't give up easily." A small smile played on Zara's lips. "Yes, I've noticed that about you. It's one of the things I admire most." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the unspoken feelings between them crystallized into something tangible. John leaned in, hesitating for just a moment before pressing his lips to hers in a soft kiss. When they parted, Zara's skin was glowing with a soft, pulsing light. "John," she whispered, "I never expected. On my world, we don't." "I know," he said, cupping her face gently. "This is new for both of us. But whatever happens, whatever we face it together." As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The threat looming on the horizon was terrifying, but in that moment, hope blossomed. Human and Liran, united in purpose and in heart, ready to stand against the darkness that threatened both their worlds. The coming days would bring challenges beyond imagining, but for now, in this quiet moment, John and Zara found strength in each other. Their unlikely love, born of compassion and shared adversity, would become a beacon of hope in the battle to come. Humanity's stand. As the deadline approached, Earth buzzed with frenetic activity. The world's governments had made the decision to inform the public, causing initial panic that gradually transformed into a united determination. Humanity, faced with an existential threat, was pulling together in ways never before seen. John and Zara found themselves at the heart of Earth's defense preparations. They worked alongside military strategists, scientists, and engineers from around the globe, all racing against time to prepare for the arrival of both the Lyran fleet and the dreaded harvesters. In orbit, a hastily assembled fleet of Earth's most advanced spacecraft prepared for battle. These ships, retrofitted with Lyran technology shared by Zara, represented humanity's first line of defense. On the ground, massive energy shields were being constructed around major cities, powered by a combination of human ingenuity and alien science. As the day of arrival drew near, John and Zara stood on the roof of the Pentagon, looking up at the night sky. The stars seemed different now, no longer just points of light, but potential harbingers of doom or salvation. "They'll be here soon," Zara said softly, her tendrils rippling with anxiety. John took her hand, marveling at how natural it felt now. "We're as ready as we can be. Your people's warning gave us a fighting chance." Zara turned to him, her violet eyes shimmering. "John, there's something I need to tell you. My people, we have a way to escape if things go badly. A hidden planet far from here. They've offered to take me there, to safety." John felt his heart constrict. "And you going?" Zara shook her head firmly. "No, my place is here, with you, with Earth. Whatever happens, we face it together." Their moment was interrupted by a sudden commotion. Alarms blared as reports flooded in from observatories and space stations around the world. The Lyran fleet had arrived, materializing at the edge of the solar system in a dazzling display of advanced technology. Hours later, as Earth's leaders gathered in a secure bunker, holographic displays showed the approaching Lyran ships. They were breathtaking, organic-looking vessels that seemed to flow through space rather than simply travel through it. A transmission came through, and a face similar to Zara's appeared on the main screen. "People of Earth," the Lyran leader began, "we come in peace and with urgent warning. The harvesters approach, a scourge that has laid waste to countless worlds. We offer our aid in the coming battle." As if on cue, another alarm sounded. The harvester fleet had been detected, a dark mass of sharp-edged ships that seemed to devour the very light around them as they approached. The next hours were a blur of activity. Lyran ships took up defensive positions alongside Earth's fleet. On the ground, final preparations were made as civilians huddled in shelters, watching the skies with fear and hope. John found himself on the bridge of Earth's flagship, serving as a liaison between human and Lyran forces. Zara stood beside him, her presence a comfort in the face of the approaching storm. As the Harvester fleet entered the solar system, an eerie silence fell over the assembled defenders. The enemy ships were massive, dwarfing even the largest Lyran vessels. Their black holes seemed to absorb all light, creating a void in space that sent chills down John's spine. "This is it," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "The moment that defines our future." Zara placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch conveying strength and solidarity. "Whatever happens, John, know that your people have already achieved something remarkable. You've united in the face of an impossible threat. That alone is a victory." As the Harvester ships entered weapons range, Earth's defenders tensed, ready for the fight of their lives. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, with humanity standing tall alongside their new alien allies. The first shots were fired, beams of energy lancing out from Earth and Lyran ships towards the Harvester fleet. The battle for Earth had begun, and with it, a new chapter in human history was being written in the stars. John took a deep breath, squeezing Zara's hand one last time before focusing on the tactical displays. Whatever the outcome, he knew that humanity would give everything they had in this fight. The spirit that had taken them from cave paintings to the stars would not be easily extinguished. As chaos erupted around them, John allowed himself a small smile. In the face of annihilation, humanity had not cowered. They had risen to the challenge, united with an alien race, and now stood ready to defend not just their world, but their very right to exist in this vast, dangerous universe. The battle for Earth had begun, and with it, the true test of humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and determination. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, watching as this small blue planet fought for its place among them. Battle for Earth. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of destruction as Earth's combined fleet engaged the Harvesters. Beams of energy crisscrossed the darkness, while swarms of smaller craft darted between the larger ships like angry insects. On the bridge of Earth's flagship, John and Zara worked tirelessly, coordinating the efforts of human and Lyran forces. The Harvesters' technology was advanced, but the defenders had something they didn't expect: the unpredictability and tenacity of human tactics combined with Lyran precision. "They're targeting our largest ships," John called out, watching as a massive Harvester vessel bore down on a Lyran cruiser. Zara's fingers danced over the alien controls, diverting power to shields. "John, your fighters need tow." "Already on it," John replied, relaying orders to a squadron of Earth's best pilots. They swooped in, unleashing a barrage of missiles that had been enhanced with Lyran tech. The Harvester ship's shields flickered and failed, leaving it vulnerable to a killing blow from the Lyran cruiser. As the battle raged on, it became clear that despite their superior numbers, the Harvesters were struggling against the united front presented by Earth and the Lyrans. Human unpredictability kept them off balance, while Lyran technology gave the defenders the edge they needed to stand toe-to-toe with the invaders. But the tide of battle can turn quickly. A group of Harvester ships broke through the defensive line, making a beeline for Earth. John watched in horror as they approached, knowing the planetary shields weren't yet at full power. "We need to stop them," he shouted, but their ship was too far away, engaged with other Harvester vessels. Suddenly, a familiar voice crackled over the comms. "This is Dr. Emily Chen. We've got a surprise for our unwelcome guests." From the surface of the moon, previously thought to be undefended, a massive energy beam lanced out. It caught the lead Harvester ship square in its center, cutting through it like a hot knife through butter. The other ships scattered, their formation broken. "What was that?" Zara asked, her violet eyes wide with wonder. John grinned. "Human ingenuity. We took your energy transfer concepts and, well, supersized them." The moon-based weapon turned the tide of the battle. With their formations disrupted and their tactical advantage lost, the Harvester fleet found itself outmaneuvered and outgunned. One by one, their ships fell to the combined might of Earth and Lyra. As the last harvester vessel exploded in a spectacular ball of fire, a cheer went up throughout the fleet. They had done it. Earth was safe. New horizons. In the days following the battle, Earth was a changed planet. The sight of Lyran ships in the sky and the knowledge that humanity was not alone in the universe had transformed society overnight. But more than that, the shared struggle against the harvesters had united humanity in a way never before seen. John and Zara found themselves at the center of this new world order. As key figures in the defense of Earth, they were called upon to help shape the planet's future relationship with the Lyrans and its new place in the galactic community. Standing before the United Nations, John spoke passionately about the need for continued cooperation. The harvesters may be defeated, but they're not the only threat out there. We must maintain our alliance with the Lyrans and reach out to other peaceful races. Earth can no longer afford to stand alone. Zara, standing beside him, nodded in agreement. My people offer not just our technology, but our friendship. Together, we can explore the stars and face whatever challenges they may hold. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a rapid transformation. Lyran technology helped solve many of the planet's most pressing problems. Clean energy became abundant, diseases once thought incurable were wiped out, and the first steps were taken towards terraforming Mars. But amid all the changes, John and Zara found their thoughts turning towards a more personal future. One evening, as they watched the sunset from the porch of John's farmhouse, now a historical landmark, Zara turned to him with a soft smile. "John," she said, her tendrils gently caressing his cheek, "my people have asked me to lead a joint human-Lyran expedition to explore beyond our known space. They want you to co-lead." John's eyes widened. "Us? Exploring unknown parts of the galaxy?" Zara nodded. "Who better? We bridge our two peoples." And she hesitated, her skin glowing softly. "I can think of no one I'd rather have by my side." John took her hands in his, marveling at how right it felt despite their physical differences. "Zara, when you crashed into my cornfield, I never imagined it would lead to this. Saving the Earth, falling in love with an alien," he chuckled. "It sounds like something out of a science fiction story." "And yet, here we are," Zara replied, her violet eyes shimmering with emotion. "So, John Carter, what do you say? Shall we see what's out there among the stars?" John's answer was to pull her close, kissing her deeply as the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky. When they parted, both were glowing, Zara literally, and John with excitement and love. "Let's do it," he said. "Let's show the galaxy what humans and Lyrans can do together." As night fell over the farm, John and Zara stood wrapped in each other's arms, their eyes turned towards the heavens. The stars no longer seemed distant and cold, but full of promise and adventure. Their journey, much like the story of humanity's place in the universe, was just beginning. In the years to come, songs would be sung and stories told of the alien girl who fell from the sky and the human farmer who saved her, and how together they had not only saved Earth, but ushered in a new age of exploration and unity. But for John and Zara, the greatest adventure was the one they were living, side by side, hand in hand, as they prepared to take humanity's first steps into a larger, more wondrous universe. The end, or perhaps just the beginning.